What's up, everybody? Alex here. Welcome back to another video. This is part two of sort of my recent vinyl additions, finds, buys, acquisitions, whatever you want to call it. First things first, cheers. So, a little bit of everything. Got about 12 or so records to show you. Again, some of these go back maybe a month or two, but I didn't show them, or maybe I did on a live stream or something, but it doesn't matter. Kind of across the board, we got some weird proggy stuff, we got some jazz, we got some pop, we got some other stuff. So hang tight, hope everybody's doing well, and let's get rolling. We'll start in Germany with sort of one of the grandfathers of what we have become known as Crut Rock. This is Can, live in Brighton, 1975. Now, I have nothing by Can. In fact, I don't have much of anything in the Crut Rock vein. But interestingly enough, I have to make this point, is that Crut Rock has become a term that we've just used to describe any type of music from Germany. Not true. Crut Rock is a very specific music genre, yes, focused on bands in Germany, but specifically those who were formed in the late 60s, early 70s, who had a very specific sound, focused on psychedelic, a lot of proto-electronica, very, very trippy, some improvisation. It is a very spacey and a very defined type of sound. So don't, I hear people be like, oh yeah, Scorpions, Crut Rock. No. This is out there stuff. I don't know how I feel about it. This is a triple LP. I got a good deal on it, and so I thought this would be a great place to jump in. This is out there. This is like pop a couple of pills, as it were, and get weird with it if that's what you're into. But for me, I don't know yet. I need more time with this. It's a lot. Very, very psychedelic, very, very trippy, very, very spacey. But I'm glad I have it. And again, Can is one of these legendary bands that I don't have anything of. And I think this is a cool place to start. So yeah, Can, live in Brighton, 1975. Let's jump into jazz. First is an artist that I am on a bit of a journey to collect as much as I can from this person. He's from Columbus. Hometown hero. He has a fascinating story, and he was a fascinating player in a lot of different ways. And that's Roland Kirk. And this is Blackness from 1971. This is a Vinyl Me Please reissue. Got the audiophile treatment. This was Kevin Gray on the mastering, pressed at some fancy place. You know the whole audiophile thing. But this is a cool record. Roland Kirk, multi-instrumentalist, blind, played saxophone, played oboe, played the flute, played them all at the same time. Definitely more in the creative, yeah, he teetered into avant for sure, but it was more of the way he expressed himself on stage. It was just awesome. There's nothing like it. Look up some videos of this man on stage. He was one of a kind, and of course, again, the hometown hero here from Columbus. So this is awesome. This is from 1971, and it's him doing sort of his interpretations of a lot of popular stuff at the time. You get some Bill Withers on here, you get some Marvin Gaye on here, as well as some original works from him as well. So Roland Kirk, Blackness, 1971. Vinyl Me Please exclusive. It looks like this was numbered to 1,000 copies, number 415 or something like that, for whatever that means. But this is cool stuff. I need more. Send me more stuff from Roland Kirk, please. Let's do it. More jazz stuff, audiophile jazz, whatever you want to call it. Original Jazz Classic Reissue Series, brought to us by Kraft, has been amazing. I try to get as many as I can of those, but it's hard to keep up, and they're like $40, but I knew I wanted this one. Originally released in 1959. This is the Cats. I guess band leader here, Tommy Flanagan, pianist, but you also have John Coltrane supporting Kenny Burrell on here, among others. This is amazing stuff. Tommy Flanagan is incredible, and then obviously anything with Coltrane and with Kenny Burrell on guitar is just going to be outstanding. So could not recommend this enough. Sounds great. Got the audiophile treatment, the Kevin Gray treatment, all that good stuff. But this is the Cats. Absolutely outstanding. Go out and buy this if you're a jazz fan. It's incredible. Keeping with the jazz stuff, I don't buy a ton of these, I'll be honest with you. Typically for the Blue Note Classic series, again, these sort of great reissues that usually hover around the $25 to $27 range. I'm a bit of a cheap person, and so I'll wait. I'll just hover. And every once in a while, they'll drop down to like a really bizarre price of like $12 or $13 on Amazon for a day. And yeah, I'll buy it from Amazon. I'm sorry, sue me. But both of these drop down to about that $13, $14 range, and I really wanted it. Both from 1966. One is super free jazz. I mean, it's like out there, like squeak, squonk, and beep boops and all that kind of stuff. If you're not into it, you're not going to be into this sort of thing. The other one is less free, but still kind of avant out there. The first one's going to be Unit Structures here from Cecil Taylor. This is pretty damn free. I mean, this is as out there as you get. Of course, he became known as more of a somebody who specialized in free jazz, pianist Cecil Taylor. But this is cool stuff. I mean, I like it. I like free jazz. I like Pharoah Sanders. I like all that kind of stuff. So this fits me and what I like. But if you're not into that, don't know that you're going to like this one. This next one was a little bit more avant and free than I thought it was going to be, but I still love it, and this lineup is killer, and I'm a big fan of this guy anyway. The record is Spring from Anthony or Tony Williams. This came out also in 1966. Of course, he's right in the heat there of being in Miles Davis's second great quintet. And the rest of this lineup too, right? You have Wayne Shorter, who is also a member of that quintet. Herbie Hancock, also a member of that quintet. And then you have Gary Peacock and Sam Rivers kind of rounding it out. This is amazing. I'm a huge Tony Williams fan, huge Miles Davis fans. And so to kind of have like 60% of that quintet on here is awesome. But this is a little bit more out there too. This is not just straight ahead post bop or anything like that or hard bop. This is getting a little bit free as well. Not nearly as free as this, but it's out there. So yeah, but this was a cool pickup. Again, I got both these for like 14 bucks or something. So had to snag them. It on Jazz. All right, we're back in it. Let's go to some indie pop, indie folk, indie theatrical weirdness. Some of you might know I'm a fan of the Decemberists. Just one of those bands. They're out of Portland, I think. That, yeah, just that whole folk thing, but they have like this weird progressive, theatrical, heroic sort of sound to them. I have a couple of their albums, but these two were on sale, as well as these next several that I'll show you on Acoustic Sounds. They're doing a 40% off on certain titles. I don't know if they're still doing it when this video goes, but I got both these for like 12 bucks, and so I'm good with it. And that is the first two from the Decemberists. Castaways and Cutouts here, and then Her Majesty the Decemberists here, 2002 and 2003, their first two. These were great. I wasn't sure what to expect from being debut, you know, were they going to have the debut slump or, you know, finding their sound or the sophomore slump. This seems pretty consistent to what would come in a few years. And so, yeah, these were great. No complaints here. Glad I have them for the collection and got them for so cheap. We'll move away from indie folk kind of stuff, and we'll go into jam band, prog rock, whatever it is. Now, this is one of my favorite bands, but I owned nothing on vinyl from them because to me they're a live band. They kind of fall into what today's jam band, but a little bit more virtuosically focused than some of these other jam bands. And that band is Humphreys McGee. Now, Chicago band, they're outstanding. They've always been a live band for me. I've seen them a number of times. But for me, the first record I heard from them, it just made sense. And it's their prog record. Everybody would say this is their prog record. And that's Mantis from 2009. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say other than like they are showing that they can do a prog record, and this is absolutely amazing. Again, the first thing I heard from them, I remember hearing it and being like, what is this? Like, this is, right? This is like, I'm hearing like almost Dream Theater-y classic prog bits, but in a very like almost college jam bandy type tone. It kind of freaked me out a little bit in a great way, but this is what I heard that totally connected with me with them. To me, this is the studio album to get, but again, they're the best live. I mean, just absolutely incredible live. But I'm really happy to be able to snag this. I think this was also like $12 or $15 from Acoustic Sounds. I've waxed poetic about my love for Coal Mine Records and their sister label Karma Chief Records. Independent record label out of Loveland, Ohio, which is about 90 minutes away from me or so. I had heard about this band for a while. This was also on that Acoustic Sound series, so this was $12.50. Hell yeah, and that is GA20 and Lonely Soul from 2019. This is that sort of new school, old school, throwback Chicago blues influence, modern day blues. Outstanding. These guys are from Boston, super cool. If you like old school blues, but with a modern sort of twinge to it, you'll love GA20. I've heard a lot of people talking about GA20. Great stuff. And of course, the best hype stickers in the game comes from Coal Mine and Karma Chief. They tell you about the record. They tell you where it was mastered. They tell you where the lacquers were cut at. They tell you where it was pressed at. I mean, just amazing. GA20, if you're into old school blues with that modern flair, check them out. Lonely Soul 2019. Let's talk power pop. One of the best power pop bands of all time. Gotta be Jellyfish. Kind of, you know, not lesser known. I mean, the people who love them, but they put out 2 amazingly perfect power pop records in the early 90s and then disbanded and went away forever. But they also did have a number of offshoots. Imperial Drag is one of them. One of the more modern ones that came recently was the Licorice Quartet. So this is 3 out of the 4 or 5 guys in Jellyfish. So this is Roger Manning, Eric Dover, and Tim Smith here. And this is Threesome Volume 1. They did 3 of these Threesome EPs. This is outstanding. I mean, this is like production ear candy heaven, perfect modern day power pop. Love it. It's not an issue, it's what it is, but it is an EP, so it's only one-sided, and then the B-side is just the instrumental versions of what's on the first side. But if you like power pop, if you like Jellyfish, get on the Licorice Quartet. This is incredible stuff on a cool green vinyl as well. More new modern day power pop. Let's throw it back to some of the originators of power pop, I guess you could call it. A band that no one seemed to care about when they were around, which means now that everybody cares about them, all their shit to get originals of is way too much damn money. So we settle for the reissues, which is totally fine. This is a band, everybody talks about their debut as they should. It is an incredible debut. It's perfect. But no one talks about their second, and I think they should. And I'm talking about Big Star and Radio City. If you got #1 record and you're like, that's all I need, get this one too. Again, the craft reissue, they have it for like 20, 25 bucks or something like that. Snag it. You're not going to be disappointed. Yeah, it doesn't have Chris Bell, but that's totally okay for me. This is just awesome. I don't know if it's as good as #1 record, but it's up there and it's great. If that's a 10, this is a 9.5. Absolutely outstanding record here. Go ahead and get this as well. Yeah, 1973, get the craft reissue, it's good stuff. Big Star, Radio City. And last is a bit of a box set, I guess. This was a record I had shown a couple of times, maybe on some live streams, but I had heard about this band for a long time, never really listened to them, and I had heard about this album a long time as sort of it's like their Dark Side of the Moon. I hate to make that comparison, but like, you know, when you talk about like the big breakthrough and all the production techniques and all those different things. And God, I'm probably going to get sued now for saying this is like the dark side. It's their dark side. Leave me alone about it. I'm talking about the Flaming Lips and their 2002 hit, Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots. Man, let me tell you, this record changed my damn life. It's 5 LPs. I probably don't need 3 of them, but that's okay. It's just a lot of the demos and outtakes and that kind of stuff that I don't really care about. Like, I'm good with the album. But man, as soon as I heard Fight Test, I was like, this is my jam. And maybe the reason it was my jam is because they kind of stole the melody from Cat Stevens, who actually gets royalties on that song. But obviously, the title track became a huge hit. And then the biggest track on here was Do You Realize, which is like the perfect psychedelic pop song. But this whole record's outstanding. So many different sounds, so many different production techniques going on, a lot of different styles and genres. Really cool stuff. A perfect album, I think, to kind of sum up that new millennium type of dreamy pop, acid rock, psychedelic pop, whatever you want to call it. This is Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots. If you haven't listened to this, go ahead and listen to it. And I think this is the era of this band that I'm going to be into. This was their 10th record, and I don't think I'm a fan of their first 8, but that's how these things go. So yeah, Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots definitely changed my life, changed the game for me musically. And that's it. Hope you all enjoyed. Try to keep this short as possible. We're under 15 minutes. Let me know if you got any of these records, what you think of them, all that kind of stuff. If not, just really appreciate you all watching, hanging out, and being good. So yeah, cheers, take care, have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk soon. Bye, y'all.